Checkity, breakity, checkity. Checkity, checkity, checkity. And we are in excellent condition. How's it going? My name's Aaron. Welcome to a little Darkest Dungeon discussion. Recently, if you're following this campaign, you have seen that they have decided to split the orders into two waves, which means the base game and some other sorceries, I believe, are going to come in a first wave, and that is still unknown of a date, which is usual to Kickstarter, but the second wave, it sort of is way more up in the air, or rather, a lot of unsureties about this. Is kind of, I have a feeling of unsurety about the second wave, but first I want to say Mythic Games is cool. I like Mythic Games. I'm sure they have a lot of games, or their games are very massive as well. They might not have a lot of games, but they're very large scale games. So they're probably dealing with all kinds of, standstills probably, especially with the shipping kind of crisis that's going on. That's another aspect of this, is I don't think whether or not these companies are using the shipping crisis as an excuse to just produce games slower, which I'm sure is not the case most of the time, but that is a factor. So we have to remember that as we continue with Kickstarter. You know, it is what it is. So I believe, the last update was the one that said, important fulfillment announcement. So that was the first one. Let's start here, because this is where it kind of starts. And also we get a first glimpse of some packaging, which packaging is really good. To see packaging from a Kickstarter it means the company's actually doing something. So that's always good. And that's actually, I want to mention, with Kickstarter, I think a good company, or I guess I could say company, whoever is producing this game, sometimes it's not companies, it could just be anyone. That's another thing with Kickstarter. It could just be some person that started it and you don't even know, and they just put pictures up. But it's pretty easy to tell the ones that have money invested into their games. But if they start to show packaging and that they are figuring out aspects of the box, and I've talked about this before in a video, but how things fit in the box can really help a game out. And that's with just taking it in and out all the time. If you got hundreds of pieces, you want those pieces organized, and you want them easily accessible, and you want to know where they all are, and you don't want them to be in a big bag and just thrown together. Don't do that. Organize them. It will save you time. Saving time is great. So that's, I think, a key when moving forward with Kickstarter. Sorry, get a good visual on the box. This one looks really standard, actually. Especially this looks like Zombicide kind of containers for miniatures, which is, there's nothing wrong with that. It works and it does good. And here's a shot with all of the miniatures in here, and you might notice that they were red at one point. And that's another thing, is that frequency of 4 seconds or less. Hang on, I'm going to have to see something here. I was buffering, the current frame frequency is 8. Okay. I'm going to have to figure this out earlier. Hopefully my video is not terrible. I don't think it is. But, so anyways, we had red miniatures. They decided, because the resin actually affects the molding process and the details, and I guess gray holds better details throughout the whole process of injecting resin into molds. So that's a choice that if they did make, good to them for the painters out there. I'm a painter. I like details. Having a bunch of shit models to paint would have sucked. So thank you for taking care of that. It's a good thing. There is a lot of models here, but part of why I am justifying it, as most people do probably getting a game like this, is painting the models, which is fun. So this got me excited because I was actually really wondering when I was going to see the models in a box, which means that is closer to that box getting to me and me playing with the game, so on and so forth. And here we have it at the beginning of 2022. I backed this, I think, 19. Or no, it wasn't. Man, it's been, I think, a whole year since I backed this. I forgot when I backed this. I backed it actually when it came out because I thought that it was going to end soon, but it's still, the late pledges are open. They've been open for a long time. Man, yeah, I think it's been over a year since I backed this. Like, holy moly. It's crazy to think that, but. So here's a lot of the bigger bosses. So yeah. Looks like they got a pretty good amount in there. Hold on one second while I read this. Okay, so there are some warnings I'm gonna have to figure out here. This is really bad for the video, but hopefully it's not, again, unbearable. Is my screen capture too? Oh yeah, I'm like pasted over this. I probably shouldn't be pasted over this so big, huh? That's hilarious. Anyways, so I guess you kind of got to see everything anyways that you wanted to or needed to see for this kind of subject here. And then they just throw this on us. So they're like, yeah, here's pictures, pre-production, yay. We are very close, so let's start here. We are very close to initiating the production of the game. We will have files ready to be sent to the factory by the end of this month, which is almost now. At this date and time, 1/26/2022. Unfortunately, we needed to make some very tough decisions to make sure this game is sent to production, as COVID and the Omicron variant is still very disruptive to the global scheduling and continues to push things back. As you know, the factories haven't been operating at full capacity because of power outages every week, etc., etc., and there's a shipping crisis too, which means the congestion has been created in the factories and ports, which, paired with the everlasting coronavirus pandemic, has led to a huge disruption of all production scheduling. This is very true. So I could see maybe some people thinking that they're just saying this. This is very true with pretty much everything right now. So I don't know if you guys knew this, but there are shipping crises happening everywhere. And it kind of sucks. So maybe think about what you can do to kind of help that out at some point, But so factories now take double the time to produce what is sent to them because they still aren't operating at full capacity and need to take COVID-related precautions. We, therefore, needed to make sure that we have sent to the factory will be produced in an acceptable timeline as it is volume. Okay, that sentence is a little wonky. Let's try that again. We, therefore, needed to make sure that we send to the factory will be produced in a acceptable timeline and is of volume that can be handled based on the resources that they have, both workers and the influx of raw material. Wow, they messed that sentence up a little bit, but that's okay. For all those reasons, we decided to ship Darkest Dungeon in 2 waves. So when I first read this, I was like, 2 waves, huh? And I heard someone saying that, and I was like, no way they're going to ship it in 2 waves. That just would be irresponsible. No, not really irresponsible, but longer that I have to get a full fulfillment. It is cool that they are giving out the first base game, which is going to be more than enough to play with. And I'll be completely honest. This is like my first game that I bought that I'm like, man, I'm going to be lucky if I play every single piece of this game. The base game itself is going to be awesome. Maybe I'll sell off some of the expansions. For some reason, I don't feel like the expansions are coming to retail, but I could easily see these expansions coming to retail. The way that Mythic seems to produce, they produce on a large scale. So, decided to ship in 2 waves. I'm not going to say I'm disappointed, but I have questions. It makes me have more questions, and I don't like having more questions. I like to feel assured and having less questions. But nonetheless, it seems like they really are considering the current climate and environment, which is not good, the state of the world, sadly. There are still good parts of the world and good people, so I wouldn't get your hopes all the way down on that. And yeah. So this decision, let's continue on here. And this was last week's What's Up Wednesdays, as they call it. The decision has been extremely difficult, not only because the game will be shipped in 2 waves in terms of content, but also in terms of languages. The game is so massive that we needed to make sure we allocate batches that can be effectively tackled by the factory. Wave 1 will facilitate a bit more than half of our backers, and it will consist of the following. Wave 1, English core box, Crimson Court, all of the sleeves, heirloom chest salute, the Darkest Tapestry, and a touch of darkness, which I believe the Darkest Tapestry is exactly what it sounds like. And then I have no idea. I need to... Actually, let's find out what the Darkest Tapestry is, just to be sure here. I'm opening up email. Okay, I have not been to backer it in a while, which is where all of the add-ons are. And I didn't get a lot of the add-ons because they felt just very much like add-ons. Oh, I think it's Game Found, actually. No, it is Backrit. I remember I did this because I got really... Okay, so here's add-ons. Yeah, here are the extra add-ons. So they got sleeves. They got the promo musketeer. I almost got the sleeves. I still might almost get the sleeves. I would love this whole game sleeve. This is one I was not really into. Just upgrading the loot chest. And I don't know what those are. Oh, as well for dioramas. Huh. A diorama of the artwork. Okay, I guess that's kind of cool. Exploration token sticker sheet. I don't remember that. The sticker sheet. That seems kind of new. Hamlet board. I thought it came with a Hamlet board. Black fabric bag. That's kind of cool. I think this one's worth it. Especially if you're painting. So, for some reason the add-ons are here, but then the pledge is somewhere else, but actually kind of work because I should have. Oh yeah, log in. I'm not logged in. That's hilarious. Starting to get a little worried there that didn't have my pledge. So yeah, let's this one, I like this, but I'm the type of person I can build that, and not to sound like, you know, crafty or whatever, but I just like the look at that one. That one's cool with its little emblems in there, but it's plastic. And I don't like having a lot of plastic things. It has to be a certain type of plastic. Cannot be cheap plastic. Cheap plastic really annoys me, especially when it's furniture or boxes. Or that one looks decent though. It looks good from far. But yeah, the tapestry is a neoprene mat. I knew that. All right. So let's go back to this. So once again, the English core box, Crimson Court. This like kind of isolates people that are not English, right? Like if I wasn't English, I would be kind of upset. But I mean, what can you do? I guess they had the more English people than all other languages, but it is what it is. What is a touch of darkness? Okay, whatever. We're not going to waste any more time on that. So let's keep reading. The factory has advised that if we send files at the end of the month, they believe that we will have everything ready for the boats by sometime June 2022. So that's about 6 months. About 5 months. Given that January is already up. Significantly more time than usual, and we're all trying to adjust to this new reality. So here they're kind of saying, they're like, yeah, hey, you know, shipping and warehouse technicalities is a factor here. We can understand how you feel as backer ourselves. We know the feelings of companies not keeping their word and making mistakes. And we have shown by now that we own our mistakes and we try to make up for them. However, this is not the case here. This is our biggest project yet, and it is happening within a very new circumstance for everybody. The factory simply cannot handle such huge quantities now because they do not have the manpower that would have had before the pandemic. Additionally, the cardboard crisis has led not only to huge increase in paper costs, but also to shortages, which led us to have pre-booked materials shortly after the campaign to keep it reserved. The Omicron variant is making it excessively difficult to have things on ships, and extra delays are caused by freights. And this is something that changes daily, making it extremely difficult to plan. We are adjusting how to operate and how we run our campaigns and pre-orders, trying to anticipate these delays, but often we are relegated to having to wait and see. Man. You know, it doesn't sound hopeless, but it's not the best news. I'm not going to call it bad news. Definitely not good news, but could be a lot worse. The plan for Wave 2 is for all the rest of the products and languages to be included in it. We have new information to communicate to you for the French version. Please refer to the French version of this update. We have already submitted a plan to the factory, which is currently being revised, but we make any announcements to you. We are waiting on feedback from the factory. Oh, but before we make any announcements to you, we are waiting for feedback from the factory to make sure that our plan is feasible and viable. We understand that this probably seems like half news to you. We want to reassure you as much as possible that the game is coming up, and we are going to be waiting for the production to take place. We have arranged prototypes and final quality miniatures to be sent to reviewers who will provide content for you to watch. That's good. Always good. We want to see them being painted. We want to see the quality of these miniatures on the level we're getting them. Next week, we'll provide you a final development table for Wave 2 with information on the languages as well, so that you can see how things are progressing. We sincerely hope that you can understand that this situation is much out of our control as it is out of yours. That's It's not reassuring at all, actually. That is probably one of the worst ways that they could put things. We sincerely hope that you can understand that this situation is as much out of our control as it is out of yours. Like, Jesus. That is hopeless. We promise we will do our best to adapt and fulfill our pledge to you as efficiently as possible. Yeesh. That's it for now. As always, you can check our weekly newscast with Sam Healy at the end of this update. And don't forget that Leo will be live tonight at 6 p.m. GMT, 1 p.m. EDT on our YouTube and Twitch channels and our Facebook with his Q&A and live in English right after. More time, so you can tune in for that, blah, blah, blah. Spend a good time with him. All right. So there we go. 2 waves, Darkest Dungeon. Were you surprised? I don't know. I'm sort of surprised. I'm kind of surprised, honestly. But at the same time, someone mentioned it, and I was like, wow, people actually predicted this one. You know? So then they got definitely had some decent paint jobs on those. Those are some decent ones. So yeah, Wave 2 is English gameplay related material for the Cove, Weld, Warrens, and the Color of Madness expansion, as well as the entire game in all other languages. So that sounds like that's going to be... I guess they're probably going to be similar loads. They probably thought that out, that each wave is going to be a similar production weight. After the script was written and the newscast got published on Tuesday, we made a decision that we could try to get the FR files into production a bit sooner than originally thought. So with that's What's Up Wednesday's update on Kickstarter, we will let our French backers know that we are going to try and do this, and it's still really isn't set in stone that we'll be able to get it done. This change of the plan was perceived as hidden French wave of production and deemed somewhat nefarious by some of our backers. In truth, we were simply trying to do as much as we could to get the product into as many backers' hands as quickly as possible. We do apologize, as we recognize we could have been more upfront with our aspirations and are sorry that it looked a bit shady. Yeah, I mean, start getting them out to people. I honestly, I don't see that as nefarious. I didn't even know about it, but whatever. We're going to try and get the Wave 1 French files to the factory by the end of May 2022. So, man, they probably won't get their game till the end of... That'll be 2 years. It's possible that the product can be on the boat sometime in September 2022. The other languages in Wave 2, because of the extra work involved in coordinating with location partners and plan for being sent to the factory by the end of August 2022, which means that it's possible that they will be on the boats by November or December 2022. For the moment, we are sending the English Wave 1 files to the factory at the end of the month, and we are in track now. This means that it's possible for English Wave 1 products will be on the boat in June 2022. That's good. So with all that being said, we are announcing the closure of the Pledge Manager. We will be closing on Wednesday, February 16th. This is your last chance to get the game at these prices, as the overstock that will go into our eShop will reflect an increase in price as well as a VAT charge. If you haven't filled out your pledge, make sure you head to GameFound, fill in your shopping details, and pay your remaining balance. Otherwise, your pledge will not be considered closed and will not be shipped. Thanks so much for your support and understanding as we seek to navigate the water towards fulfillment. Well, that's a pretty important piece of information right there. So, yeah, go in and make sure your shipping details are filled in and pay the remaining balance. I don't even think I've done that now. Holy moly. That is something I will be doing that. So that's it for now. So, you know, here is a Kickstarter playing out. I think people expect too much for Kickstarter, too much snappy responses. You know, this is all being made now. And it raised $5.5 million. Man, I think I remember when it was like at 2 or 3. I think it gains another 2.5 mil within a year or so. I mean, I can't really remember, but that's a lot of money. That's, playtesters, blind playtesters. You should have the whole spiel going through that. Should have the whole 9 yards to make this game an amazing experience. And I'm going to leave with that this game is a certain type of game. It's a game that not everyone is gonna like to play, and you hear a lot of talk that it's too tedious. There's too much going on, yada yada. Too much upkeep, and you're mostly right on all of those things. But to the people who like playing those types of games, that's what they like, and I'm one of them. I like playing these kind of bigger, crunchy games with lots of upkeep and lots of tokens spread everywhere. And I'll find ways to mitigate all of that. That's part of the process with these types of games. But I'm still unsure if it's going to be something that is fun to play and come back to. That's the thing. Will I want to keep coming back to this game? And we'll see how it goes from there. And I know I will have fun playing it the first couple of times, but as we get into playing it and seeing how it really rewards you or punishes you, I understand it's supposed to be punishing gameplay, but it's kind of an odd feeling to still be on the fence about something that I haven't had yet. So, but I have high hopes. I definitely have high hopes, and I don't expect it to change the landscape of dungeon crawlers or anything. It does have a unique system, though, in it. It has a unique system. So, maybe that unique system will be enough to really get you there with the fun value and stuff. But, rolling dice in general is sort of a unique, or not unique, but it's an expected thing. It's I feel like you don't like it or you do like it. So, or it's polarizing sort of. You like it or you do. Maybe you're just mad about dice rolling. I mean, I have to be in the mood for it, but when I like it, I really do like it. So, but yeah, that's a little update on Darkest Dungeon for everyone still in the boat, waiting to get this large game and have it consume your tables with cardboard and resin. Lots of cardboard and resin. All right, I'm out of here. Hope someone found it informative. Peace out, y'all.